Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. The three, steps back, crossover, puts up a three. Rebound James. Second. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city of champions once again. The Cavaliers are NBA champions.
Cleveland! This is for you!
What is up, Cavs fans, and welcome back to the Block the Shot to Stop, our special 2016 NBA Finals 10 years later series. And speaking of special, our special guest today, Brandon Towers, our former partner at Playback, hopefully I can say friend, has come back to talk about the NBA Finals and in particular Game 3 with us. BTow, how you doing, my man?
I am doing awesome, Kevin, Skyler. Appreciate you guys having me. And, you know, it's kind of funny. We can also get excited about our 2026 Cavaliers as well now. So glad that we get to reminisce and still have some excitement for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this project was born out of not enjoying this year too much. And now it's kind of the best of both worlds. We're getting to rewatch, you know, the only Cleveland championship in 60 something years at this point, and as well as enjoy a really good, really exciting team this year, even if they play with mostly guys under 6'5". But I digress. Skyler, how are we doing tonight, sir?
Feeling good, especially after watching the Game 3 of this incredible series. I mean, everybody's just gonna hear me ooze about this series in every single episode. But a big Game 3 where the Cavs actually get their first win of this series.
That is right. And to set it up, this is when it starts getting good for us Cavs fans. So Game 3, the Cavs are down 2-0. And have a pretty demoralizing Game 2. Not only do they lose by 30 to go out down 2-0 in the series, Kevin Love gets concussion. His availability is in question. He does not play in Game 3. So the one thing that Cleveland does have going for him is they're coming home. They're playing in Cleveland. And the crowd was absolutely crazy and propelled the Cavs to a fantastic start, which we'll get into in a minute. And then a runaway victory, 120-90. BTow, I'm gonna let you go first, my man. What are some of your initial thoughts, like rewatching this game, both kind of what you were thinking about 10 years ago when it was live, and then as well as kind of what you saw in a rewatch?
One thing that really sticks out to me, and Skyler kind of hinted at this, like mentioning how awesome this series was. These two teams, so good, like so good.
Yeah.
And even at the time, I remember, like, I think every Cavs fan knows this, or anyone that's had to like go through the Warriors, Rockets fans probably, you know, really feel this too. You never feel like they're out of the game. Not just you never feel like they're out of the game. You almost expect them to shoot themselves back into any deficit. So like that was the first thing, was like, I was like, man, these teams are so good. Watching guys like Sean Livingston coming off of their bench, like an absolute problem. One thing I forgot, the game starts with Golden State's first two offensive possessions are a Steph Curry air ball and a Klay Thompson air ball. What an omen for what that game would be, right? So I forgot that's how the game started, and the Cavs got off to a quick start there. But as you mentioned, Kevin, K Love was concussed out for the game. It was RJ starting at the 4, and him and Tristan Thompson were doing some work there in the paint. They were making Golden State work for everything. So yeah, I think really my key takeaway though was I forgot just how high level the hoops being played was, I think, in that series, which is crazy because like I even think like, man, it was really high level. But man, watching it back, everyone in that series was absolutely balling. And it was fun to watch. Like even in a 30-point win, like the Cavs had to play perfect, right? You could still tell Kyrie standing up cheering on the bench when J.R. Smith hits a 3 to go up like 25 with 9 minutes in the fourth. Cause like, you know, like that Warriors team, they can always make that comeback. So it was super fun to rewatch. It was so much fun to rewatch.
I agree. This was a really fun game. And before I turn to you, Scott, I just wanted to comment on one thing you said, Brandon, that the level of hoops, how good these teams were individually and then as collective units. I had the exact same thought. I think almost everyone would agree the last year and a half, the Oklahoma Thunder have been the best team in the NBA. They're obviously defending champions. They have best record this year so far. I don't think that team could stay on the court with either of these teams. Like, I just think the level of play, I mean, and that's part of the reason this series is maybe the most fondly remembered or most remembered of this century. It's because of how good the teams were, the star power, all that kind of stuff that frankly just don't see on an NBA team right now. With that, Skylar, I'll turn it to you. Kind of same question. Your initial thoughts rewatching Game 3.
This was the absolute stinker of a game from Draymond Green. I've said it in other episodes where, like, if Golden State wins this series, we probably all see, like, Draymond Green probably is the Finals MVP. His career is very different if they win this game or win this series. But in this game particularly, he comes off with 9 points, 6 points, 6 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, and 4 personal fouls, so just under. But this is a game that they really shut him down. And one thing that I noticed was this was a game that the Cavs were able to drive to the rim, something that they weren't able to do in the first 2 games of the series.
So you led me right into what I was going to talk about. I actually wrote down a quote from LeBron that was post game. They asked him like how he was able to be so much more effective, because for LeBron, he had 2 pedestrian games. I mean, his stat lines are ridiculous for just about any other player in the history of the game. But games 1 and game 2 were 2 below average games for him in the playoffs. And Doris Burke was the sideline reporter, asked him, how did you find a better rhythm, or how did you perform so much better in this game? And he said, I was able to get going early. I did get out of a rhythm a little bit there in the second quarter, but I was at the rim the whole time. I never stopped going to the rim. And that's what I need to keep doing if we're going to have a chance to win the series. And I 100% agree. I went back, the first 9 baskets they made, 8 of them were at the rim, and 1 was a 3-pointer off of Kyrie deep penetration. So like they obviously came out with like go to the basket relentlessly. They did end up hitting some threes as the game went along. Kyrie hit 2 big ones right at the end of the first quarter. J.R. Smith, as you mentioned, BTow was really good for moments in this game, but it was very obvious that the Cavs came out and was like, if we're going to beat them, we're going to be out physical them. We're going to out physical them at the rim, both offensively and defensively. And while I remember that, I didn't remember the extent. I didn't remember that they came out so uber aggressively. And obviously it was the right call. They were able to win the game. And Brandon, I'll go back to you. I know we've obviously mentioned some of the individual players, but give each of us a chance to highlight one individual. Could be the biggest star of the game, or maybe somebody unheralded that you thought maybe had a bigger impact than maybe you got credit for. So who's one person you want to talk about from this game?
Yeah, I think based on, let's try and make it a kind of natural segue into what sort of was happening there in the paint, getting physical, going to the rim.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about Tristan Thompson,
Good one.
who, in the absence of Kevin Love, slightly smaller front court partner, mate there, and RJ for this game. Something I didn't remember, Tristan Thompson had double-digit rebounds in the first half of this game.
Yeah.
That is massive. Closed with 13 rebounds, 7 offensive on the offensive end of the floor. So, and part of that does go back to that quote that LeBron gave Doris Burke at the end of the game. I do think, like we all know, when you're getting pressure at the rim, it opens up offensive rebounding opportunities for those bigs as the help has to come and contest. So Tristan Thompson he came to play. He was energized. He has a massive and 1 offensive rebound. I believe it's in the second quarter where he grabs the rebound like between like Draymond and someone else. And then you hear RJ scream and 1 as TT puts it back up. Like he was super energized. And double digit rebounds in any half of the NBA Finals, first of all, is incredible, but particularly in that series, kudos Tristan Thompson. So yeah, I want to give Tristan Thompson some love for particularly that first half he played.
No, he was absolutely huge, as you said, especially in the absence of Kevin Love, who is obviously a huge part of the rebounding effort for the Cavs. And at that time, I agree. I thought he was phenomenal, especially in the first half, kind of setting the tone. And yeah, you don't 14 and 13 out of Tristan. You can't ask for anything more than that.
That's you're playing with house money at that point.
100%. Skylar, who do you want to talk about?
I'm going to highlight J.R. Smith because this was the game that really got him going in the series, because the first 2 games he combined for 8 points. In this game, he went off for 20 points, 5 of 10 from the 3-point line. I mean, he was shooting to go with 3 steals and playing that just bully ball defense that he always was known for. But this was really like, all right, they finally have another shooter that isn't LeBron driving to the hole and isn't Kyrie in space. So finally having somebody else to give any type of offensive production is definitely needed in this game, but it goes on later in the series for all the things that JR does in the series.
No, it's a great call. I assumed you guys were going to take LeBron and Kyrie, so I went with an unheralded guy. So we'll come back and we'll obviously spend some time talking about LeBron and Kyrie. But I actually was going to go with Richard Jefferson, who is the main guy tasked with filling in for Kevin Love. And while you never want to miss Kevin Love in an important game, Kevin Love's amazing, but he definitely gave them a little bit of a different element, a little bit more athleticism. Even at 35 years old, RJ was crazy athletic even at that time. And Jeff Van Gundy said on the broadcast, Richard Jefferson's creating chaos in all the best ways for the Cavs. Like he was kind of a much better liked Draymond in that game for the Cavs, that like every Warrior hated him in that game. You could see like so many people. I think every single Warrior tried to talk smack to Richard Jefferson at some point in that game because they were annoyed with him. They were like mad about a little bit of an extra shove he gave them, a little bit whatever. And frankly, he gave the team a little bit of attitude and kind of what you need when you're down 2-0 to kind of show the other team, you're not going to back down. That being said, let's, as a roundtable, talk about LeBron and Kyrie. I feel like they're two pretty important guys to mention.
Maybe.
Yeah. This game was a taking off point for both of them offensively in the series to really, from this game on, even though the Cavs lose game 4, they were the best 2 offensive players the rest of the series. LeBron's the best all around player. And then Kyrie is one of the top 2 offensive players. I thought they're both phenomenal. Kyrie in particular had 16 points in the first quarter, just absolutely coming out and setting the tone. LeBron mentioned that in the postgame as well, how special Kyrie was and how key it was for him to come out so aggressively and get them the lead early. And then LeBron, from this moment on, I think took control of almost the entire game, the rest of the series, basically, and was absolutely phenomenal. Brandon, I'll go back to you. Like Kyrie, LeBron, anything in particular you saw from either of them, other than the fact that they're both just two of the best maybe the 2 best basketball players ever wear Cavaliers jerseys?
I mean, I probably should have opened with this with thoughts on the game, because this was a thought. I didn't want to open too sad, but a thought I had is like, how did these 2 brothers like stop playing basketball on the same team? Like, and relatively soon after this too. It's absolutely crazy. Like the decision was bad, but like Kyrie leaving, like in hindsight now, like that feels worse. There is almost nothing better than watching a Kyrie Irving Cavaliers highlight tape. It is like I could watch it every night before I go to sleep. I probably should. Like, I love the way he hoops, love the way he plays. LeBron, though, in this game, back to like LeBron being able to LeBron was the best player in this series, the best player on planet Earth at this point in time. Watching his patience initiating the offense, he would stand there like no one really like Iguodala is playing kind of drop coverage. Obviously, he's gonna let LeBron shoot like a deep 3. LeBron just standing at the top of the break and watching everything develop is so cool. Like he'll literally stand there for like 5 seconds and then make the correct play. But you knew it was kind of LeBron's night when he hits the sky hook over Iguodala, driving right, hits a little sky hook. You're like, okay, there's nothing they can do to stop this man this night. But yeah, I mean, Kyrie and LeBron, it's a shame that we didn't get to see more years of those guys together.
I agree. Like LeBron at the top of the key, or getting the ball like at the nail and just surveying and watching his like basketball computer brain like work, and where he's seeing things nobody else in the world has ever seen on a basketball court. Absolutely phenomenal. Like Skylar, go to you. Anything I guess you would add on to what Brandon said about LeBron or Kyrie?
I mean, it probably teases into kind of my play that defined this game, but it's definitely where LeBron gets the steal at midcourt, stumbles down, somehow keeps his dribble, passes it off to Kyrie. Kyrie throws it up for the most extended alley-oop you could imagine. I mean, he was fully like caught it back here And like
Yes.
it was,
Well,
and to
Was my
stretch the
defining
lead to
play as
20
well.
at that point.
yeah. Well, let's go to that and talk about. I actually wrote down until the last 2 minutes of Game 7, that was the single best highlight of the entire series, in my opinion. Until it really intensifies there. I wrote it down. Also, it was awesome. I also figured one of you guys would say it, so I wrote down a couple other ones. Well, it's not a single defining play. I did put down how aggressive they were. 8 of the first 9 shots were within 5 feet of the rim. I thought that was really key. The other defining play, I don't know if you guys saw this on the rewatch, but there's 11 seconds left in the third quarter. I believe it was Iguodala gets fouled. He's going to the free throw line. Curry picks up the ball while play is dead and goes up to try and dunk. And LeBron goes up and pins him off the backboard while play is stopped. And to me, that is not even though it actually didn't happen in the sequence of the game, that was a LeBron, like, I'm sick of your shit. Like, you're not getting anything easy, even if the whistle's already blown. Like, I'm not giving it. And LeBron, I don't know how many times this series blocked Curry and then just kind of looked at him. But there was something about him doing it, him not even letting him get a dunk or a layup while play was stopped. It's like he wanted to go block Steph Curry in the layup line before the game even started. It was awesome.
You immediately made me think of Game 6, obviously, where he just gives a little extra sauce after he gets that weak stuff out of here.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I mean, I think we highlighted. It was actually the 5 starters who by far made the most commitment. They didn't get a ton from the bench in this game, which makes sense. Without Kevin Love, their rotation was a little different. Of all these guys we mentioned, who Brandon, I'll go back to you first. Like, who would be your MVP of this game?
Oh man, it's LeBron James. If we're actually saying who the MVP is, who do I think though? Like unsung hero maybe. Obviously like TT in that first half, but I think Skylar's shout on like a massive game from J.R. Smith was huge.
Yeah.
I think it took a lot of the load off of LeBron and Kyrie. But MVP, it's got to be LBJ.
I can't argue with that. Skylar, do you want to argue with that?
No, anytime an MVP is brought up, it's LeBron James.
Yeah, it is. And the one thing I wanted to highlight, and all of those guys that we've talked about are incredible contributors. I think there's an argument for Kyrie from the sole fact that he scored 16 points in the first quarter. When you're down 2-0 and frankly, you just had a demoralizing loss, your third best player is out that game. You need something good to happen early. And he was the good thing that happened early for the Cavs. So, well, I think you can make an argument for Kyrie. It's LeBron James.
I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah.
Give it to Kai.
So this next question, I always go to Skylar first because he is our pinnacle of optimism with the Cavs. And this is probably an optimistic time, but the Cavs win this game going away. They close the deficit to 2-1. How are you feeling about the Cavs' chances to win this series after this game?
To win this series, maybe a little less, but I felt like the Cavs were back in it. Like you went like 2-1's way better than 3-0. So to be 2-1, still having the next game at home, you felt like, okay, there's a little bit of momentum finally building around this team. For like you said, the first 2 games were just hard to stomach, to say the least. So to have a win under the belt, to like get back in it, like you felt like the wheels were turning.
I swear, in my notes I made for the game, I put Skylar's going to say 99.5% chance they're going to win the series after this game. I thought that's where we were going. BTow, what about you? How are you feeling going forward in the series after the Cavs were able to get their first win?
Yeah, Skylar a little BTow pilled there with your take because I was definitely in a similar boat. I think like I might have literally thought like we're not dead. Like thank God. Like because coming into that game, like I think everyone can agree, you lose that game, the series is over. So it was really just like there's a chance. So I think really like my thought process was I'm terrified for game 4, but if we win game 4, this is suddenly a 3-game series, and the fewer games there are, the more anything can happen. So like there was a bit of bubbling optimism there. And as we all mentioned, like LeBron and Kyrie did get off in this game. So we were certainly trending in the right direction, but I would say it's probably even a stretch to say I was being cautiously optimistic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. So again, the eternal pessimist, I think I felt as good or better than you guys because for a couple of reasons. I'm like, one, I was like, if they can win without K Love and get K Love back, I think that's a really good sign. I think the other thing that, and I said this, along in the series, this whole series, for the most part, I didn't think Steph looked right. Like, I think he only had 4 points in the first half of this game. He looked so much more frustrated. This is like the least I've ever seen Stephen Curry smile during a basketball series. And granted, they win a lot of the series, so that helps. But the fact that the Cavs were able to keep him in check, and we shout out J.R. Smith for his offense, but like, he was the main guy on Steph Curry and did absolutely phenomenal virtually this whole series on him. And so I thought 2-1, the next game's at home. Like, if we can get that game with or without Kevin Love and then get Kevin Love back for game 5, then it's a best of 3, obviously that's not what happened, not to spoil on the next episode, but game 4
was even better.
Yeah. Game 4 did not go the way the Cavs wanted, but ultimately it did. So next question, I'll go back to you, BTow, our final roundtable question here. So coming out of this game, as you said, the Cavs have a chance where they have life, all these things. What happened maybe in this game that you thought, if the Cavs can keep doing this, they can win this series? Was there something you thought they did differently, better, anything in particular?
The one thing that I think I probably noticed a lot more in the rewatch than I did at the time, even though I had conversations at the time, pick on Steph Curry on defense. I did not quite and I think maybe this is part of why he looked so demoralized, Kevin, on the floor. I did not realize the degree to which we just picked on Steph Curry. And that's going to get to you eventually, like mentally, even if you are, right, like the best offensive player on the floor, the best shooter ever. Like, the other team saying you are the guy on your squad that can't stop us, and we're just going to continue to come at you. It probably does something to a man's psyche, I have to say. So, like, watching us pick on Steph Curry and have success doing it time and time again, to the point where Steph's trying to jump passing lanes. We're hitting him with back doors and stuff. Like, he's Sam Darnold on the Jets seeing ghosts, right? So, like,
very relevant.
If we could keep doing that, then I did feel like we had a chance. But again, I was cautiously like that. Their offense was just so good that you guys know how I am. I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to these things.
Hey, you and me both. But it's a great call out. As far as things you maybe notice more watching back and everything, you notice how young all these guys look. Obviously, it's 10 years ago. We all looked a lot better 10 years ago, I'm sure. But like, how small Steph Curry is. He put on a lot of like muscle, like shortly after this. And to your point, like maybe This was a driving force that he needed to get a little bit bigger and stronger to hold up on the defensive end. Because like, I was like, man, he was that small. Like back then, it's like, I kind of didn't remember that. Skylar, what about you? What was something you noticed in this game, or something that you thought if the Cavs could keep doing this, maybe they can win this series?
It was a great call, BTow, because I didn't even realize how much they were picking on Steph until you called it out. And now I'm looking at all the box scores and like, man, Steph had so many turnovers because they just kept picking on him. And then whoever was on him, offense, defense,
send
whatever.
the blitz.
Exactly. But I think it goes back to what LeBron said and what we've called out is just driving to the hole, not being so reliant on three-point shooting when some of the three-point shooting wasn't there. And I think a lot of times with this Warriors team, the way that they won a lot of the 73 wins was getting other teams to play their game.
Yeah.
The Warriors game was the three-point shot, live and die. This felt like the time that the Cavs turned it into, we will not be able to outshoot you, but we can out-physical you. So they drove to the hole. That's how they won essentially this game, but the series is being more physical up and down the court because they know that they aren't going to outshoot them.
No, I think that's another great key, and obviously something that turned out to be very, very true. I remember thinking after this game, because of how good Kyrie was, and it was the first time he felt like he looked like Kyrie in this series. Yeah, I don't know if it was just feeling out games 1 and 2, but I was like, I think Kyrie can outplay Steph and or Clay in this series. And if Kyrie can be better than those two guys and LeBron's going to be the best player in the world, they got a real chance to beat those guys. as much as I loved Kyrie and everything, I don't think I put him in the same class as Steph, and maybe in a similar class to Clay or something. I'm like, this guy could be better than either of these guys in this series. I really think he could. And if he can play as well as he did tonight, frankly, outplaying those two guys, like, I think they can win. Obviously a lot of other stuff needed to happen. I do think they stumbled onto something with Richard Jefferson, because you saw, even when Kevin Love comes back, his role stayed very big the rest of the series because of things. So I thought that could have been a key as well. But yeah, I mean, if nothing else, this is when the series got fun. Even the only game the Cavs lose from game 3 on is incredibly fun because of obviously the kick to the groin and what it meant for
getting physical. Hey, back to Skylar, like getting physical paying off. It made Draymond snap.
Yes,
that takes a ton. No,
like a gentle breeze mostly.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, I think we covered it. Awesome game. 30. You don't get many 30-point wins in the NBA Finals, especially when you're a Cleveland fan. So it was really
playing a
really
73 win regular season team.
Yeah, I know. And especially coming off of game 2. Game 2 is the only episode we did where we didn't want to bring a guest in for. We would have felt bad bringing a guest in to talk about that game.
Thank you.
Much better to do game 3 and hang out with you, Brandon. Well, like we do at the end of each of these episodes, and Skylar and I will do ours at the end of the game 7 episode, but we ask our guests, tell us your game 7 story. Like, we fast forward. The Cavs do it. They come back from a 3-1 deficit. They win the championship. Where are you watching the game? Who are you watching the game with? How did you celebrate? So BTow, take it away.
Yeah. So I was living in Portland at the time. I, of course, flew to Cleveland. I went to game 6. I stayed in Cleveland for game 7. I was crazy enough, I was supposed to meet a big party at Corner Alley, and I'm notoriously like late to stuff. It's bad. It was a bad thing back then. I'm much better now, but like back then I was notoriously late to stuff. Can't show up late to a NBA Finals game 7 party at Corner Alley in Cleveland. Like, you're not getting in the building. So I didn't get in the building. Some other friends were like, hey, we've got you a spot at Barley House. So nice. I was like, this is about to get chaotic. Headed over to West 6th. They got me into their little spot at Barley House. The thing I will never forget, like, the people at Barley House clearly have never, like, to your point, Kevin, like, Cleveland hasn't won a championship, right? In 60 some odd years, right? At this point in time. So I don't think anyone understands how like championship celebrations or like culture is supposed to go. But I remember distinctly that Barley House still served all of their drinks in glass that night. Their beers were served in glass. Their cocktails were served in glass.
Oh, no.
Coming down the stretch, me and one of my buddies, Donnie, shout out Donnie, we kept saying Kyrie Irving's in the office because Kyrie started taking over down the stretch of that game until, like, you know, there's the lull in scoring, then he hits the 3. I just remember the buzzer sounds. We turn to each other, go, Kyrie Irving's in the office. And then it was like duck and cover. Every glass in that, like, we were out on every glass there just got spiked. Everything shattered. Like, it was just a shower of glass. People stormed out the gates at the back, started jumping on cop cars. It was the craziest, coolest, like, most surreal, life-changing moment ever. If you are a bar in a city playing for a championship where you know there's going to be a celebration, put the glass away.
Yeah,
but it was amazing.
Invest in some plastic cups. That is a phenomenal story, and I'm sure everyone loved it except for the owner of Barley House. Probably not.
What do you lose? Like $20? You can buy glasses.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No, he'll be fine.
How much we spent there that day? He'll be all right.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome thing. Thanks for sharing. It's been a lot of fun getting to hear everybody else's different experiences, how they watch it. Well, it's kind of the same. You know, some of the emotions are the same and everything. It's cool to hear everybody's like individual and everything. And to your point, of course, nobody knew how to celebrate a championship. A guy ate horse poop at the parade. I mean, that's like,
only in Cleveland.
No one knew what to do. So, Brandon, thank you for being here, doing game 3 with us. This was a really fun one. If you're listening now, all the games are in the feed, 4, 5, 6, 7. Listen to them all. We got great guests for them all. This is when the series starts getting really fun. And this whole project was really fun because we got to hang out with people like BTow and talk about the literally greatest 2 weeks in Cleveland sports history. So So as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, liking, rating, all that good stuff. We will be back for game 4. And Skylar, as always,
Go Cavs.